Hey everybody, time for another rambly, talking to a wall, psychology, social studies, with with some video game stuff in it. Video. If you like the videos, like, sub, silly comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. It does help when you leave a like or sub. If you want to support, that does help the channel. I do have some real life stuff videos to do. It is kind of the anniversary of me dying, so I do got to do a video talking about that kind of stuff again. But I kind of want to talk about this quote right here. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. And I want to talk about narcissism. And of course, so many people, this idea of getting a gold star for doing nothing, which is especially prevalent in the video game community, right? And it's funny when I think about narcissism because I'm often told that I'm a huge narcissist, even though you can look at my, even on my YouTube, I have those videos talking about how, I am an insecure person and I don't even like myself. And that video talking about how being cool isn't cool. What I thought was cool wasn't actually a cool person. Because of how I looked, it automatically made me a narcissist or made it look like I had some ulterior motive, even though it is the 4th of July, actually. So maybe there's going to be some fireworks going on outside. Because of the way I look, that maybe people might stereotype me as being a narcissist or something like that. But you got to remember, and I put this picture right here. When I posted my pictures on the internet years and years ago, it was just out of insecurity. Probably everyone has their own insecurities, right? I was never expecting to somehow get #1 rated guy in the world, right? To have my pictures stolen all over the internet or anything like that. I just was totally not expecting that. And that, of course, is also relevant because I have to try to make the OnlyFans a little more seriously now. So if you want to go to the OnlyFans, check it out, right? Certainly I wish I would have been more narcissistic, when my pictures were really being stolen on the internet, because I'm really struggling to pay for all the medical bills that I have. Again, my health record isn't fake. I know one guy actually helped me pay for my insurance recently. He wants to be anonymous, but I do appreciate that. It is a struggle to pay for all the medical bills that I've had to do to keep myself alive throughout the years. But that's why I got to start trying to take the OnlyFans a little bit more seriously, because, who knows how much longer people are going to care about seeing me naked in the first place, right? I mean, I don't know. I've been able to fake a little bit. I don't know how old I look. You know what I mean? Sometimes people, I don't know. I fake a little bit, but I've always said I don't consider myself cool. It was just random by chance that, I posted my pictures on the internet, and apparently a lot of people thought that I looked really cool, and my pictures were, stolen all over. But it's a anticlimactic story because, I never really I didn't become famous like so many other people. Maybe they get people that catfish their pictures, but they didn't become famous, right? Or they did become famous, but I didn't, right? But again, I'm not someone that thinks they look cool, but part of me regrets that now because I'm struggling so bad for money. That I can't believe maybe I should have did it earlier, right? The OnlyFans kind of thing, to take it more seriously. But, then I see stuff like this, and it's just, if you don't want to see it, you can cover your eyes. I see the people that will say that I'm a narcissist and I'm one of the most evil people in the entire world, apparently. I mean, we see this person here. Where's this thing? This person here talking about that I was one of the, well, maybe I was, maybe they still think it. I'm one of the most 3 evil people in the entire world. Why? I don't know. They also say that they are apparently internationally known for their beauty. I don't know, I guess because I didn't have sex with their friend Lily, who then they said they were never friends with Lily. This person right here who talks about what a god they are, how beautiful they are, how evil I am, how delusional I am. A person that faked dying. Faked a heart condition for sympathy. And then came back as their girlfriend. Buttmonger. Completely full of himself, right? We've heard the stories about him many times. Look at this. They call themselves an it. The funniest Clayton Chapman release was this video where he talked about the trans agenda. I don't recall ever making a video talking about trans agenda, but whatever. And then immediately after posted his testosterone replacement therapy results. Imagine trying to compare being a transgender to somebody who has gone through life or death situations, radiation, it's fucked up my body. My body doesn't work properly anymore. So yes, I tried TRT for a little bit to see if that could try to fix my hormones a little bit. Do you think that maybe this it, I mean, how the fuck, they call themselves an it, while comparing being transgender to somebody that has been dying in a hospital and is fucked up permanently from radiation. That's the same as being transgender. You know, the list goes on with these fucking nutcases, right? And I think that I'm the one that is supposedly narcissistic. Clayton Chapman, who has made videos constantly talking about, I don't think I'm cool. I feel lucky whenever anyone thinks I'm cool. And I said, you know, you can go watch those videos about being cool isn't cool, you know. And in a way, you could say that, you know, being insecure, having a bad life growing up and being insecure, you know, I was very bullied and beat up all the time at school. I was told I was ugly. You know, I remember like the last day of 7th grade, I told the story, last day of school. A couple girls came up to me in front of everyone in class and just were like, we want you to know how ugly we think you are, and just said that in front of everybody, right? Rocks were thrown at my face. You know, I was not very popular growing up. Then I went through puberty and apparently I became cool, you know, and I saw how petty looks were and how different people treated you just because of the way that you looked, right? And then going through dying stuff and then, you know, trying to work myself from the dying stuff. You know, I got to do a video talking about, you know, life or death stuff, you know, geez, almost 20 years later, whatever it's been. Long fucking time, dude. But then, of course, too, after the dying stuff, still sick, but, you know, forcing myself to work out, having times where I basically have to teach myself to be able to walk again, right? To my pictures are stolen all over the internet. Catfishes everywhere, right? And I've talked about before that in those videos that, you know, maybe having such a bad life growing up, that gave me the will to go on, because getting sick so early, you know, it wasn't like I had a life before, right? My life was not very good, right? Could be worse. It wasn't like a made for TV movie or some shit, you know, but certainly not the most positive life growing up, right? But you could say from a certain perspective that helped me to go on, because it's like, oh, damn, I'm going to die. I never even had a life yet, right? So, you know, and then being a nerd, I wanted to be cool, right? Because the nerd was the good guy, right? And even talking about the narcissism thing, you'll hear people talk about what a narcissist Clayton is. He's so full of himself. You know, when I was dying, you go through those things like, man, did I do something wrong? And, you know, I can assure you, never been a narcissist was never crossed my mind. You know what I did think? I did think that, you know, maybe while I was dying, you know, like, man, because, you know, it almost makes me seem kind of boring, right? It almost is like, can you imagine that you're like dying in a hospital? You don't know how much longer you're going to be alive. And it's like, there's that cliche thing of, it's like, do I call anybody up? You see in movies, I got to call people up. Hey man, I'm about to die. and I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't even have anything like that because I never did anything bad. It makes me seem kind of boring to even say. Imagine you're about to die and you can't apologize to him because you never did anything, dude. Like I said, it makes me seem kind of boring, to be honest, if you think about it. But I did think, you know what, maybe, you know, I can be a selfish person, right? I can be a selfish person. That's true. But then, you know, as the years went on, and again, I told the story before that I knew the video game community had lied about me, but I didn't realize it was to such an extent, right? Until Dragon Ball FighterZ. I didn't realize it was such a deep-rooted sort of, I didn't realize the delusional lies that people had told about me through the years. Again, I knew people lied about me, you know, but not to the extent, right? And then you see so many people have taken credit for what I've done throughout the years. And I realized that even, you know, going through that dying stuff, thinking that I was a selfish person, if I'm selfish, what is the video game community, right? Imagine you can look at the pictures, you know, look at my health record, right? Again, thanks to the dude that actually helped me pay my insurance recently. If you ever want to support the channel, it does help. It costs a lot to keep yourself alive. I mean, I've showed the blood tests, right? You know, my body's fucked up from everything. But I thank you to the anonymous person who helped me pay for my insurance recently. I appreciate it. If you ever want to do that too, let me know. But you know, I realized like, well, if I'm selfish, what is the video game community? What kind of what kind of people joke about another person dying for years on end while constantly taking credit for the stuff that they taught you? Look at the Hope. The Hope person forgot to delete all their posts talking about what a god I am. I've done all this stuff that no one else has ever done. Then they make up a fake death threat. And then they take credit for everything I did. Just like so many other people in this community. And, you know, again, that was a recent thing. But of course, this is the first kind of time that has happened. But, you know, when I saw stuff like that, wow, geez, I don't even think I can call myself a selfish person. If I'm selfish, my selfish level is very low on the totem pole compared to other people, right? But of course, you know, and I've said many times, I feel lucky that I've been able to win when I play games and all that kind of stuff. But people will say that's narcissism. Like just me saying a fact is do you want, like, am I supposed to be like Jesus or something? You're supposed to joke about me dying, say everything I did was fake, and you're supposed to take what I did as your own, and I'm supposed to allow you to get credit for it? But because I call you out on that, that makes me a narcissist? Doesn't that make you a narcissist? Don't you think a narcissistic person is someone like these people talking about how they are internationally known for their beauty? And Clayton Chapman is one of the 3 most evil people in the entire world. Why? I don't know. Because they couldn't beat me in a video game? Because I did more than them in a video game? Because I didn't have sex with their friend Lily, who then they later helped cancel Lily, and they said they were never friends with Lily. This fucking freak talking about how beautiful they are, how amazing they are, how they're a god. I'm going to be honest, I hate talking about looks because I am someone that I don't like how I look, right? And I always feel like I'm getting older and older. You know, it's very hard. You know, I feel so old. I feel so fucking old. I'm so tired. And oh my God, buttmonger, all these people, a person that says they're an it, comparing dying in a hospital. Someone that's been dying in a hospital, has permanent side effects from radiation, and this person calls himself an it, and they are comparing that to being a transgender. And they made up something about that I have some trans agenda video, which I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. But of course, do you think that maybe other people are the narcissists here? You know, again, to love yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. And it's kind of it's an interesting quote, right? Narcissism is the beginning of a lifelong romance, but there's also being delusional, I think. I would say, again, I hate even saying it, but God, they look hideous. I mean, I hate saying it because I don't like how I look, but I mean, you see some of the motherfuckers that have lied about me for all these years while they talk about how beautiful they are and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, these motherfuckers are. Well, I said it. I already said it, right? So. But, you know, again, this video does have a little bit to do with, you know, recently, because I think about, God, I'm struggling for money so bad that I got to do the OnlyFans. You know, by all means, go to the OnlyFans if you want to see it. Pinch my nipple for you a little bit. One guy kept asking me to pinch my nipples. I was like, I guess. Okay. Then he started asking for other things, and I was like, bro, calm your nipples. But, you know, I think about this because it's like, man, it's really disturbing that you see people will call other people narcissists, and you think about the shit that they do, talking about how amazing they are. And I always say that I had that, I made many videos about it before, but I had that, I guess you would say an epiphany. I don't know if an epiphany is the correct word, but I had that, you know, realization was, and again, when I tell this story, I think it makes me sound cool. And I always go like this before I say it, because trust me, it's not like I was looking for homeless people. I'm not motherfucking Teresa out here. Okay. But certainly I was willing to put myself in situations that I didn't really enjoy. But I thought it was making the world a better place. But, you know, I had that, especially it was like in the heat, you know, my pictures were being stolen so much on the internet at the time. And God, I wish I could have made some. I should have. Maybe I'm an idiot, right? I should have been a narcissist trying to make money off it, right? I mean, people forget. I mean, the people in Britain, Jesus Christ, look at the fucking video game community. I had no idea that people were posting half naked pictures of me. That fucking Jay motherfucker. I had been to his place multiple times. Apparently, Jay might have been one of the people stealing my pictures and pretending to be me after I saw that shit. But I digress. But anyway, that story was, you know, I had that realization. You know, I was with the homeless guy in the bathroom, and, you know, I gave him some cereal, and I had some water. I gave him some water, and he was just like, you know, he's like, how do I eat the cereal without the milk though? Right. And he didn't say it in a bad way. Don't hate him. I mean, it's not like I don't think he was homeless. Right. But, you know, and I was there, and I was like, I'm just hanging out with this homeless dude in the bathroom. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the internet, and I'm going to read some crazy fucking lie about me. Someone that Clayton is such a terrible person. He's such a huge narcissist. They have no idea the kind of shit I'm doing. And this homeless dude is just like, I can't eat the cereal without the milk. And I was just like, why am I doing this shit? You know? Again, and I don't take that story that like I'm a Mother Teresa, because I don't consider myself a super nice person. I always said I don't consider myself a super nice person, but I do consider myself a very morally comfortable person. And, you know, other stories of, I've told that story before, man, God, there's that one dude talking about what a huge narcissist I am. And I was like, dude, I remember when we were younger and I was helping this homeless guy, and you ran from me because you said you don't want to be seen by somebody that would hug a homeless person because it would like ruin your, like, I don't remember the word exactly he said. He said something, I guess paraphrasing or whatever it was. He's just like, yeah, but what if somebody from school sees me, you know, around a homeless person? He's like, I can't believe you would do that. Right. And not that I wanted to hug the homeless guy. Again, I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm not going around hugging homeless people, but, you know, it was a nice thing to do. And, you know, he wanted somebody to talk to. And so he was shocked that a lot of times you talk to homeless people. Sometimes they're shocked, like, you're actually going to talk to me, right? You know. Of course, then that guy said I'm a huge narcissist. He couldn't be seen by next to a homeless person. So, I digress. But, you know, I don't know, man. Just the shit I'm thinking about. And of course, I'm thinking about the narcissism thing because, you know, I got to be a little bit, I got to try to be a little bit narcissistic to make some money off OnlyFans, right? You know, some of these people, oh man, come on, you probably do all this shit all the time. No, dude, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not jacking off for dudes on the internet all the time. This is new to me. This is new for me. Sorry, dude. You know, sorry, dude. I don't think I'm actually that cool, right? My pictures were stolen just, you know, again, Jesus Christ, I don't even like, God. Still, I don't know. I don't even like, you know, even, you know, some people, they still say I have nice hair, but, you know, God, my hair is still fucked up ever since getting the long COVID years ago, right? I don't know. I've actually been thinking about trying to do the oral minoxidil. I hear that's a thing. If anyone's ever used oral minoxidil, let me know. I know people still say I have nice hair, but I can tell it's not as nice as it was 10 years ago. Then again, maybe most people's hair isn't what it is 10 years ago. I don't know, dude. I mean, but again, I'm an insecure person. There you go. That was just off the cuff. I'm an insecure person. You don't hear me talking about that. Oh, I'm the god of how I look. Oh, I'm so beautiful. I'm internationally known for my beauty. Oh, wow. Jesus, looking like that, dude. Been making up delusions in your head, man. Fuck. Jesus, man. And these people are my peers in games. People are like, oh, you're such a narcissist. You talk about what you've done. Yeah, because me saying what I've done in a video game is a fact. That's not that's like me saying a fact is narcissism. Oh, you want credit for everything you did. You know what? I actually just say I want people to do the stuff I found and that I've come up with. I just don't want you to take credit for it. That's the whole thing. I want you to do it. I just don't want you to say every time I do it, it's fake, and then you take credit for it. You fucking weirdos. Motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, dude. I don't know what the video game community is going to do without me. Can you imagine? Like 20 plus years, dude. Every single game. Who's the person? You know, I am shocked how much tech I come up with. I still coming up with new stuff. What is it? Halfway through 2025. I don't know how I do it either. I'm surprised by myself, but you know, just goes to show you, man, a lot of these motherfuckers that talk about how amazing they are, dude. I think you guys are the narcissists because you're pretty fucking incapable. Anyway, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.